Lost in this moment here with you. The way you look in this room, we go round and around and around and around our heads. We can go and we go and we go till someone says, honey, I want you forever. You're the best thing, you're my treasure. No matter what we're doing, there's no pressure. You make it so it's better weather. Oh, we go round and around and around and around our heads. And we go and we go and we go till someone says, let the stars just shine on through. Try to light up this still moon. Kill the stars with your perfume as we stare up at the moon. When we stand up, we're dazed. Love like this doesn't fade. You tell me to stay, make it just another better day. I will run, I will run, I will run to you. It feels like I might fall through. I know if I fall, you'll catch me. Surrender my heart into the deep sea. If I have a trouble, I know that you will understand me. Let the stars just shine on through. Try to light up this still moon. Hear the stars with your perfume as we gaze up at the moon. Let the stars just shine on through. Just light up this still moon. Hear the stars with your perfume as we go right to the moon. Let the light bounce off the walls as we lie here on the floor, higher than we were before. Drunk on love like it's alcohol. Drunk on love like it's alcohol. Ooh. Drunk on love like it's alcohol. Ooh. Drunk on love like it's alcohol. Ooh. Drunk on love like it's alcohol. Yeah. One lap to go before I win the race. One step to go to another place. Time stands still. For this moment I feel myself again. I try to fit on in. Everything falls apart. And when I do, I feel like a lost cause. No matter how hard it gets, no matter how I feel, I'll reach where I wanna go. I'll show you dreams exist. I'll reach for the highest star. if I stand still, will it get the best of me? And if I stay quiet, would it be wrong of me? The more I show myself, the more things fall apart. The less I show myself, the more I feel like this. I'm losing myself, and all my friends are disappearing. All because I went too far, and I don't even know what's real. And if you want to live, or you wanna have a dream, it's almost too far from real, or at least that's how I feel. I'll reach for the highest star, see how far I'll go. If it takes me longer than expected, I hope you won't let go. One thing that I feel is that everyone disappears, and all because I reached too far and falling in the atmosphere. Yeah. I'm falling in the atmosphere, all because I reached too far. I'm falling in the atmosphere, all because I reached too far in the atmosphere. Now I'm falling down this misery.
Got an issue, I think I kinda miss you, but kinda I mean a lot. I wanted to continue, be an editor, make it a reissue. I'm not crying yet, so I don't need the tissue. I got love that I just wanna give to you. If you hold me more, I'ma try to kiss you. I don't wanna be under this umbrella, I'm just a fella who wants to weller. I want you all the time. I don't wanna lose. What we have is fine. What we have here is better than gold. Oh, did you know that I'll never let go? Never let you go. Yeah. Cause our love isn't armor vest that I wear around just like Superman, making sure I protect my lower sign. We can chill around, hey, smoke Mary J. Go and hit play, let's say, can we play? Cause we can watch this love grow, you know. What we have here is better than gold. I hope that you know that I'll never let go, never let you go. Her kisses taste so perfectly, and honestly, I know that she's into me. So need be, I'll get down on one knee. I'm nervous as fuck, but she's all after a while we'll have our own family, create our own story, write a history. I can't wait to have a little one. I make sure that I'm the number one. I said there so you can expect some, cause one ain't enough to give away my whole love. And all this love, is lifting us up, What we have here is better than gold. Yes it is. Oh, but you know that I'll never let go. Never let go. Never let you go. I got a love I wanna give to you. I wanna hold it forever, wrap it up with a bow and golden star that will shine forever. You're so clever, cook up what you like after work for dinner. You'll say, hey mister, then I'll kiss ya. I close my eyes, I already miss her. One day I'll be a Mrs. and Mr. What we have here is better than gold. I hope that you know that I'll never let go, never let you go.
I know tonight is gonna be a good time with you right by my side. I don't know how I ever did it before you were into my life. We have a fight sometimes, and that's just fine. But we've been looking for this for a really long time. So for tonight, let's just dance, little weekend romance. Cause you're too beautiful just in that dress. And I've been broken and I've been fooled. I've been so lost I didn't know what to do. I'm so glad to have you. You pull me out of the blue. I just wanna dance with you. Oh, I don't care if people stare. 'Cause all my life, all I needed was a row of flowers in her hair. Flowers in her hair. Honey, you look so amazing, and everyone is up and dancing. For a minute we were just
Alright guys, get ready. We're going to be doing the live stream just shortly. Just getting things ready. Feel free to enjoy these songs. These are going to be off my album, Level Up. And just, yeah, after this song, we're going to get right into it. So, see you guys in a bit.
all night. And all this time I should have looked for a girl with flowers in her hair. I've been broken, I've been fooled, I've been lost, I didn't know what to do. I'm so glad to have you. You pull me out of the blue. I just wanna dance with you. I don't care if people stare. 'Cause all my life I think I needed a girl with flowers in her hair. Oh, with flowers in her hair. A girl with flowers in her hair. Flowers in her hair. You love the daisies, you love the lilies, you love flowers in your hair. Not into roses, but you love some flowers, you love flowers in your hair. I've been cheated, I've been down to the point I'd even look around.
I fucking love this song.
I've been broken, I've been fooled, I've been so lost, didn't know what to do. So tonight, I just wanna dance with you.
I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like it's good.
Oh, I don't care if people stare. Well, I think I needed to go with flowers in her hair.
I can't wait to do this shit live more. Oh, good.
Oh, I think I found the one. I think I found it now. With flowers in her hair. So I just wanna dance with you. Oh, I don't care if people stare. 'Cause all my life I think I needed was a girl with flowers in her hair.
Do, 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 do. All right. Should be good to go. Baboosh. What's up? You guys, you lunatics. It's so good to be back. So good to be. It's a brand new week. A lot of things have been happening. I hope you all are enjoying your week so far. Let's see. It's a beautiful Wednesday. Just kidding. It's completely downpouring outside. So if you had plans for today, they're going to be going on hold. You're going to be doing your work. You're going to be doing that stuff, and you're going home. That's what you're going to be doing today. Going home, chill out. That's what it's about. Wow, a lot of stuff has happened. As you can see in the background, I have a Ouija board. That's going to be today's topic. Last week, I helped my beloved family clean their storage unit, and it was a lot of fun. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a little bit of the album. We're going to talk about some spooky stuff, and I have some fun stories. It's going to be really fun. So without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? Got it started with the ukulele. I hope you guys can hear me all right. I hope the volume's all good, Gucci. But let's get into it. Well, I'm bored as shit, got nothing to do during this quarantine time. So I might as well just sit in my house and make a small podcast. Hey, it's podcast time. Cool. Yeah, for those of you that are just tuning in, I started this podcast way back in the quarantine golden days. That's what happened. I was bored, severely unemployed, and I just needed ways to just keep my mind going and keep the creativity flow alive. And that's where it all stemmed from. I started doing the podcasts, and before everything went super haywire, I had some guests over. So hopefully in the future we can get some guests. But I don't know. I don't want to talk too much about that because I really don't know. But yeah, so this past weekend, I ended up helping my family, my beloved family, clean out their storage unit. And it was very crazy because, I don't know if any of my listeners or anything like that they're watching have storage units, but they're like a little treasure chest. And really, I was just going there to help them kind of organize and kind of figure out what they were trying to get rid of and stuff like that. And there was a lot of my childhood in there. There was so much that I ended up taking more than I expected. It was one of those things where I was like, yeah, I'll help you guys organize and clean some stuff. But then it turned out to me filling up our car with all of the junk. But it was not junk. It's like my childhood. So it was like, they weren't even going to throw it out. I was just like, I'll take this off your hands just because this is awesome and this is my childhood. Like one of the things they had was my old Nintendo DS, which that's a story within itself. I don't know if anyone that watches or listens, but Nintendo DS was huge when I was a kid. I'll never forget one of my best friends. I won't say their name. One of my best friends growing up, from one of my birthdays, he got me. It was a Game Boy Advanced. It was a blue metallic Game Boy Advance, and it came with Pokemon Emerald. And Pokemon was huge, and it still is huge. A lot of kids are still playing it, and it's big in the card collecting. I don't know if we have any people that collect the cards or anything like that, but that's like huge. That's serious money. I play Magic personally, so when I go into the comic book stores and I see the prices of Pokemon cards, I'm like, what the actual is going on? It's like a stock market. Like some of the cards are like $500. Just for one card, it's $500. That's insane. That's insane. And they can just go up. So there's a respect that you get for that. It's collecting, it's an investment, it's a hobby. Everyone has their own hobbies, and mine's guitars and music. I think that's pretty clear. I should be wearing my new shirt. Christina, my birthday is this week, and for an early birthday present, she got me a shirt that says "You can never have too many guitars," and it's a shirt, and it's awesome, and it just has this shirt with guitars, and it literally says in big font, "You can never have too many guitars." So it's crazy. But back to that story. So that Game Boy Advanced that I had, I mean, that was like elementary school, borderline middle school when I got that, and I played that religiously. Pokemon Emerald was like it has a special place in my heart. I remember using the Ethernet cable and connecting with my buddy's Game Boy so we could play together in school. It was a lot of fun. And then I remember when the Nintendo DS came out, and that was huge. Every kid had one, and it was like the coolest thing to have. And I remember I used to save up my lunch money. That's the way I ended up buying my Nintendo DS. So when I was in middle school, I would save. My mom at the beginning of the week, she'd give you, I think it was like $20 or something like that. And that $20, she'd be like, "This is your lunch money for the week, so take that." Or maybe it was like she'd give me like a couple bucks here and there during the day, before I went to school. She'd be like, "Here's like $10 or $5 for lunch." I forget what it was, honestly. I forget, but I remember she used to give me money for lunch, and that was what I would do. I would use that money, and I would buy like the cheapest thing. I would save as much money as I possibly could. I'd pocket as much money. And it was cool because all my friends knew about it. So they would give me some of their lunch and be like, "Yo, this is gonna be lit because the minute you get your Nintendo DS, we can all play together. It's gonna be awesome." So like they all helped me out. Like it was all good. They would bring like lunches from their house. It was super funny. But I ended up saving all the money for this Nintendo DS. This is way back, way back. I was a little kid, and I took the bus. When I had enough money, I made it very clear to all my friends it was the day. You know what I mean? I literally, like, it was the last lunch, and some of them were like, "Hey, do you want this or do you want that?" I was like, "No, I'm good. This is the last lunch, friends. This is the last lunch, and I'm going after school and getting that Nintendo DS." So I did that. So after school, I get on my bus, and I made it so I took the closest stop that was near Walmart. Okay, it was some neighborhood, and I took that. In the way that Walmart was, that was like in my I grew up in a very small town, and Walmart was like the one-stop shop for everything. It had electronics, bikes, outdoors, food, clothing, had everything. And that was huge back when Walmart was just coming around. You know what I mean? So that was like the first store that opened up, because before that it was all locally owned, and they were great. I never grew up in the town though when it was all locally owned. I kind of grew up when the transition was happening from local to Walmart, pretty much, is what I'm getting to. So I took the bus to the closest place to Walmart, and then I walked to Walmart, and then I got in line. I looked at all the Nintendos. I picked out this nice red one. It was this metallic red. It reminded me of Iron Man. Iron Man is my favorite superhero of all time. So he is, every time I see that red or kind of like that Iron Man color, I shut up and take my money. I want it. I'm very attracted to that color. It's shiny, it's red. I don't know if anyone feels that way, but like the superhero, even the fact that it's a superhero, just makes it even more badass. yeah, it's just something I've done. So I remember getting this red one, and the guy opened the case, display case. He got the thing, and he was like, "Do you want me to check you out?" And I'm like 10 years old, like 10. And I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So I get in the line. I remember there was a line, and he was like, "All right, I'll just help you at this register, and I'll just have it here." So I wait in line. In the meantime, there was people behind me too, and I had like this little bag. I had this little bag of the coins and dollars and everything. But I knew that in this bag there was, I think it was like $130 or something like that, 120, in saved up. So like a kid with this piggy bank, I literally when it was my turn, I just sat that piggy bank right. I just sat that bag right there, and I was like, there it is. And he was like, he looked at me, and he looked, and then he kind of understood. Like, he was super friendly about it. I mean, I'm sure some people would have been like, "Get lost, kid," but he literally like opened it, and he was like, "There's a lot of coins in here, but we'll count it. We'll count it." So we counted it, and it was exactly what I needed, and I took that because at the time, Game Boy, Nintendo DSs, they could still take Game Boy Advance games, and I had Game Boy Advance games. I had Pokemon Emerald, Ruby, just a lot. And so I didn't really need games. I just had them already. So I went home and I just started loading them up, and it was like the best thing in the world. It just was so awesome. And I remember I got eventually for a gift, I think it was like my mom gave it to me for a birthday gift. She got me like Pokemon Sapphire, Silver, one of the new Nintendo ones, and that was the best one I ever played. It was like addicting, but besides that, so I took that. That was one of the things I found at the storage unit. That was like what this whole story was about. So I found one of those at the storage unit, and I took it. And my dad, it was super funny. My dad thought it was his. He was like, "Oh yeah, this is my old Nintendo DS," and I was like, "Your old Nintendo DS? When did you get a Nintendo DS?" And I'm like, "Open that up really quick," and he opens it up, and I'm like, "Boy, you have a lot." At first, I'm like, "You have a lot of games in here," and then I look, I'm like, "You have Pokemon Emerald?" And he already had it in it, and he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Wait a second." And I take the case off, and it's red. And I'm like, I put it back on. I put the case back on, and I'm like, "Oh, this is mine." And I was like, "This is my childhood Game Boy Advance, like Nintendo." And he was like, "Take it. I'm not even gonna use it." And I was like, "Hell yeah." Guys, I'm not joking. That's all I've been playing. When I'm not doing music or something like that, I'm waiting for files to transfer. I load up that Nintendo and I'm playing it's great. It's the greatest feeling in the world. I love it. I love it. Comment if you ever stumbled upon your old childhood memorabilia, or I don't even know what to call it, toys when you were a kid or something like that. And it's so nice to be reconnected with those, you know. The other thing that I have right behind me that I had to snatch up, which my parents just actually gave to me. They were just like, "Yeah, you can just take this," was this Ouija board. And guys, I don't know about you, but me and Christina tried it because we're just like, fuck it. We already have it. You might as well give it a shot. We looked at the directions. We learned how to play it. I mean, it's basic, but if you're going to do it right, there's some things that you got to know. Like, you got to make sure to say goodbye. You can never take your fingers off of it. You can't put any pressure on it whatsoever. And we thought it'd be fun because we live in an apartment building. So, like, if there was anything, who knows? You know, it could be fun. Nothing happened. Nothing. We tried it. We were literally there for like 30 minutes. Nothing at all happened. At all. And we even made sure to say goodbye. We think sometimes there'd be times where it kind of moved and skipped, but it's kind of like a placebo effect, you know? And so you can't really, like, I'm pretty sure at one point I moved it, but I couldn't tell because I like jumped in a weird way. You know, like sometimes when your nerves just kind of twitch. I did that once and it moved it, and I was like, that was not the board, that was me. Or there was times where I'm pretty sure when Christina would like try to get up and readjust herself, she would accidentally push it, but she was thinking that it was actually moving. But I'm like, no, this ain't moving. Comment if you've ever had a weird experience. If you believe, I don't believe in that stuff. I think I'm what they call the skeptic. Is that what they call them? I think so. I could be wrong. I don't know this stuff well. But I just don't really believe it. When I was a kid, yes, because I think my mind was more stronger than I thought it was. You know what I mean? When your mind is very creative and you have an overactive imagination, sometimes your mind can play tricks on you. I think that happened a lot to me when I was a kid, because when I look back at what I would consider like scary stories, it could have just been my mind just kind of messing with me. You know, shadows, lights, and because I have or did I think I'm pretty sure I still do have a very creative imagination, but back then I remember being told when I was a kid that you have a very creative imagination, so that probably would just happen to me. You know, I can see that happening, especially with any other kid. You know, kids are just overly creative, so that's just gonna be in their nature to get spooked out by weird things because they're, you know what I mean, you know what I mean. Like, for example, like the story I was going to talk about, there's two I was going to talk about that were like my ghost stories. You know what I mean? So we're going to talk about some ghost stories. They're not really, you know what I mean? But there'd be the only kind of thing that I could think of. The only thing that I could think of, yeah, that would be as close to being a ghost story as possible. Again, I'm gonna say this again. I don't believe in this stuff. It's not that my mind doesn't want to believe it. It's just I don't have enough proof. For example, if there was a ghost and he knocks on the wall or he flicks a switch, how do people find that scary? I don't. Even if it happened if it ever happened, it would not scare me. Why? Because as me, I just think if that's all you can do is flick on a switch, that's shit. That's miserable. No wonder why you're pissed off. I just can't. I don't find it scary. I just find it more of like, that's upsetting. We ask you to communicate with us, and all you can do is flick of a switch. That sucks. Holy hell. You know, I don't get scared. I think it's more of like I find like a way to make light of it, I guess. I'm more scared of like actual like things, like for example water. Open water is like my biggest fear in the world. Open water. I don't understand how people can go swimming in open water. I'm not talking like a lake, I'm talking like the ocean, because the ocean is like, we only know like, I think it's like 3%. I don't know. It's a very low percentage of how much we know that's in the ocean compared to the outer space. We know more about outer space than we know about the ocean. And that freaks me out. Doesn't that kind of unsettle some people just a little bit? That we don't even know half the percentage of like the things that are underneath the surface, underneath the water, but we know all the things that are in outer space. I mean, that's cool and all, but I just think that there's a little bit more that could probably be underneath than what's out there. I mean, it's both. There's both two theories of it. You know, there's a lot of shit going out there. The universe is endless, so there's a lot more shit, but we only know a small percentage of that water and what's underneath it. And that to me is, that's enough for me to not go in it. I'm all set and dandy. Like when I'm at a beach, I don't know. I'll go like up to my knees or my waist or anything. Yeah, no, I'm just all set. It's freaky. That's what freaks me out. It's a fear of mine. It's something I've always tried to conquer, but I just can't conquer it. Comment below if you guys have a weird fear or something like that you want to conquer. Because I've tried to conquer it many times, but when I get into water, especially specifically open water, in pools and lakes, I'm fine. But when I'm in open water and I'm actually like submerged in it, like I could go diving in it, I get weird breathing, like my breath gets out all weird. It's almost like I'm having like a panic attack. You know, it's like you can't get a steady breath. I always try to challenge myself when I'm in the water too. I'll still go in the water sometimes to see if I can calm myself down, to see if I can figure out a way to calm that breathing down, but I've never been able to. And I'm 26, so I don't, maybe one day it will miraculously happen, but I don't see it happening. But that's why, transitioning back to the ghosts, that's why ghosts don't really scare me, because there's nothing. There's no evidence. There's no, we've seen the ghost stories and we've seen the ghost videos, but like there's so many things that, I don't know, try to prove me wrong. I love to be proven wrong, but I'm a hard skeptic about it. But I will say that when I was a kid, I did feel like I experienced what I would think is a ghost story or anything of a spiritual kind of thing. The first thing I'll talk about, which actually scarred me, it actually messed me up, like wicked bad. But I don't know if it was a prank. I don't know if it was, when I look back on it, I don't know what it was. I still can't figure it out. And that's where I think it's kind of a ghost story. There was no Ouija board ever involved in this story that I'm about to tell you. It was when I was a little kid. I had to have been like 10 or 12, 8 maybe, I don't know. I was a little kid. And I lived in this neighborhood, like a cul-de-sac kind of thing, and I had all my friends lived in it. It was awesome. Like there was so many kids that were in the same grade as me, or if not like above or below, and we all hung out with each other. I don't know if anyone's that lived in the neighborhood ever had that kind of experience. Comment below, because it's a really cool experience to kind of have like a group of friends. It's kind of like the typical movie cliches, like where they have like the group of friends that they're all like neighborhood friends. That's what I kind of grew up with, and I'm blessed for that. And one of my friends, my closest friends, he lived on like the other side. And his house was like one of the first ones that got built up. There was, I don't know, like that is pretty much all I knew. It was a nice house. It was big. What else? A little spooky though. Like it was a little spooky. It had the spooky aspects of it. I just can't really explain what the spooky aspect was, but I mean, for example, he had like the typical attic that they had a door, but like it was just like that typical long staircase that you see in every horror movie. And even when I was a kid, I saw almost every horror movie, and I knew that when you saw that staircase, you do not go the F up there. You just don't. Like the basement too. He had the sketchy basement too that like it wasn't unfinished, and it had like a piano down there, like an old like honky tonk piano, and like sometimes when you stepped on the stair, it would rattle the piano because the piano was up against the wall where the stairs were, so you'd hear like a hammer hit down on the piano. I'm all set. I'm good. I'm all good. When I see that kind of thing, I'm out. I will admit that it's just not right. But when you were like now I probably wouldn't, but when I was a kid, I was petrified of that shit. Anything that gave me a feeling of threat, I dip. First kind of vibe I got, out. But there was this one time that I went over to his house, and this is weird, guys. This is like, I still don't know how to explain it. No one was home. There was no one home. It was just him. He called me, and he was like, hey, do you want to hang out? And I was like, sure. Yeah. And he was like, all right, come meet me at my house, and we'll go. Like, okay. So that was normal. So I literally hang up the phone. I'm telling my mom, all right, I'm gonna go hang out. So I run out and go to his house, and I knock on the door. He opens up, and I go in, and he had this look about him that was just like, I was like, yo, are you okay? Like, you look kind of weird. And he was like, come upstairs with me. And I was like, okay. So I go upstairs with him, and we're staring at the door going to the attic. Door shut completely. And he's talking to me, and I was like, how's your day? I just talk about casual stuff. Like, what have you been up to? And he was like, I've been, listen to this. And he cuts me off. He's like, just listen to this. And I'm like, what? And then I'm listening, and he had a big dog, and the dog was right next to us. The dog's acting fine. But then out of nowhere, you hear like a bang upstairs, up in the attic. And then he looked, and he was like, shh. And then we hear someone I'm literally getting goosebumps, dude, talking about this. This is like, I think this is an actual ghost story. So you hear bang happen upstairs, and then out of nowhere, you hear someone start to charge down the fucking stairs of the attic, like coming to the door that we were standing at, literally just looking at. You can hear someone angry. Like, it's angry steps. Like, I could feel the vibrate. Every step they took, it was like boom, 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 boom. It was like right in your face. And I just remember I grabbed him and we freaking ran. We ran, and he had all hardwood floors even going down the stairs, and we all ate shit running down the stairs. Like, I fell, he fell, the dog fell, the dog's running with us, the dog's falling over us. We literally book it out the door, slammed the door, the dog's we left the dog, which is horrible, but we left, we ran out, and the weirdest part is you heard the footsteps continue to go down the stairs. Like, it followed us and it stopped right at the door. But the weirdest part guys, is he had a glass door and the glass door was closed and there was nothing there. There was nothing there. And I just looked at him and I was like, do you want to go outside and just kind of like shoot some hoops? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, let's go do that. And we literally just like went down and as we were like, there was silence. We're just playing, I think it was horse. That was like one of the popular games we used to play, is like you spell out horse and you try to shoot hoops. And it was silent. The first part was just silence, pure silence. And we're just kind of like trying to shoot and just kind of focus and ignore what just kind of happened, kind of like brush it off and ignore what just happened. But I think we were both kind of shooken up by it. So I was like, did that really just happen? Was there anyone inside at all? And he was like, no, there's no one inside at all. It was just me and my dog. And I was like, how long does that happen? And he was like, that happens so randomly. And the worst part is it happens when I'm home alone. And I was like, whoa, that's messed up. And he was like, yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know I don't even know how to explain it. But the fact that you just witnessed it with me, it makes me feel less crazy. And I just remember looking at him and being like, yeah, but now I feel crazy. Because I remember going home and trying to explain it to my parents, and I was a kid, so they didn't believe me. And they're like, nah, you're just a kid. You're just a kid. You're probably just hearing shit. You're probably just imagining shit. You got a creative imagination, so you're probably just hearing it. But that is, by God, when I say it really shook me, and like it just like it left you puzzled. And even after we were done playing games, when I was walking home, I was just one of those like long walks where I was like, how did that happen? There was no explanation. Until this day, I was trying to explain, like I said earlier, there's no way I can explain this. And that stuck with me. And that's how I know it's kind of like when someone, like, I don't know, I feel like I've seen situations happen where I've seen like someone explain a ghost story and they don't feel like that fazed by it. And that's when I know there's more to it that's probably not real. You know what I mean? But when someone explains it where it like impacts you, like it messed you up, that always, I've heard stories like that, and it makes me wonder too, like that is believable, because when someone's shooken up by it, I mean, that's real shit. That's real shit. But that was one of the first and probably one of the only ones that I have that I think it was real. It was real. But I still don't believe in that now. I know that's weird. I know you're going to watch this and be like, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I was a little kid when that happened. Okay. I haven't had an experience like that as an adult where I'm like, holy fuck. I live in an apartment building. So anything I hear, whether it's like a little ticking on the wall or something like that, it could be a neighbor, it could be mice in the walls, it could be anything. It could be anything. There was squirrels living in the rafters for a while, or whatever they're called, like the things that collect the rain. Right in the wintertime, last winter, there was a bunch of squirrels out living in it. So sometimes you'd hear like a little scratching. So it's like you hear pipes go off, you hear things, houses do that. So every time I always have like, oh, that's what that is. I haven't had a moment like that story I just told you where I literally can't find X, Y, or Z. If you had, comment below. Prove me wrong. I always like to do that kind of thing every now and then. But like I said, this Ouija board, we tried it and nothing happened. Maybe I'll take it to a place. Maybe we should take it to a place where people say it's haunted and we'll give it a shot. Maybe I'll record it. I don't know. Probably won't happen because I really don't do that stuff with Lou. Usually what this channel is all about is like stories, funny, comedy, entertainment, music, reviews, product reviews, vlogs, stuff like that. But I don't see ghost and paranormal stuff being on the channel unless people wanted to see that. I mean, if people did want to see that, I would give it a shot because I personally am a skeptic about it. So I feel like it'd be hard to scare me. Yeah. Like I'm always that guy when I go to like the scary, what are they called? The scary Halloween like jump scare where people wear masks and they try to scare you. I don't know what they're called, like haunted museums. Like, you know what I mean? Where it's like every Halloween people do it. It's not that I'm scared or I'm not. It's more of like when I see someone with a good mask or a good outfit, I will literally look up at you and be like, dude, that is a sick costume. That is, because people spend money with these things because it's a hobby. It could be a job. So it's an investment. So those people that really take it seriously and have a really cool costume, even if you're trying to scare me, I'm sorry, but I'm just going to be like in awe of your costume. That's super cool. So that's why I can't get scared with those things. It's like when I go to a music show or a music concert, I don't really find myself fangirling or listening to music. I'm learning. I'm taking it in as a musician. You know, does that make sense? My mind's taking notes. I'm figuring out what's working. So that's why it's like, I feel like when it comes to that stuff, I'm not scared of it because, especially like with the theme parks, you know what I mean? When I see the people with cool costumes or masks, I'm in awe. It's really cool. It's like watching the behind the scenes of like movies and you see how they make it. And like I'm a big movie guy. I love my movies. I love TV shows. I love this, you know, just cinematography. I love all that stuff. And I think it came as a kid. My dad would always watch the behind the scenes of movies because back in my day we had DVDs, and the DVDs would have like the part A and part B, and the part B would usually be like the bonus footage and like bloopers and behind the scenes and stuff like that. And my dad would always watch that stuff, especially with like the Aliens movie series or the Rambo series or like any Marvel, like X-Men was huge. Any Marvel movie, we used to watch all the behind the scenes and see how they would do it and like how they would make it so like the thing, like his Wolverine's claws would come out of his skin. Like it's really cool to learn how that is. But when you do it so much, you don't watch a TV show or a movie the same way either. That's the thing. And you look at it and, you know, like Christina, when we watch a movie, she'll be sitting there and being like, whoa, you know, like, especially if it's like a gruesome movie, she'll like, oh my God, this is messed up. And my eyes are wide open being like, whoa, I wonder how they did that. That's super cool. Oh, I get it. Okay. So they probably had prosthetics and I'm not even fazed by it at all because it's a movie, it's fake, you know, but it's fascinating to me to see how they made it look so real. That's so crazy. Like we just watched the latest Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Oh my God, that was like the best Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie ever, hands down, man. Like, first of all, they have the original girl come back, the one that survived in the very first one from the 70s, which, and if anyone's never seen the original Texas Chainsaw, the OG Texas Chainsaw, you must watch it. It's a classic. It's a classic. You have to. It's like a staple to Halloween. You know, it's a great movie. and it's kind of low budget. It was made in the 70s, so it's really bad, but I love those movies. I love them. But the new one, so they had the girl come back, the original girl from the first movie, and she's all old and everything, and she's out to get Texas Chainsaw Massacre. She's like, I need to get this guy. And meanwhile, all these millennials come into this dusty old town that was once the Texas Chainsaw Massacre's town. And in it, there's they pretty much buy the land. They're pretty much buying the land to make a new town. And the town's going to be all like yippy dippy, millennial shit. And so they are checking out all the buildings, because they're all abandoned, so to speak. But there's this one building in particular that's there, that this woman lives there, right? You follow me? This woman, she runs the orphanage. This building that they were in was an orphanage, okay? And she's like, the millennials go up to her and they're like, you can't live here. We just bought the land. You're technically not allowed to be here. And the woman's like, no, I can be here. Like, I have rights. I have the papers. I bought this property and I can live here. And she's really old. And she's like, I can't leave either because I protect someone here. Like, you can't let this happen to me. And they're like, well, you need to get the papers. And there's two kind of kids. And one of the kids like, you need to get out of here. The other one's like, well, let us see those papers first. And they're trying to get the cops involved, and they do. And when they get the cops involved, this old woman literally just dies. She literally just like seizes and just like freaks out and just literally dies. And it just so happens that the Texas Chainsaw dude was upstairs watching it all happen from the stairs. And he sees these all millennials leave and sees his mom pretty much die. And he snaps. He's like, I hate these kids already, so I'm going to kill them all. It was super messed up. I don't want to give too much away. There's one part in the movie, I'll just say this, that all the kids, there's like this big bus. There's this big bus, and this bus was kind of like a party bus. It had like a DJ booth in the back, and it had like a bar and shit like that. And there's something going on outside later in the movie where they all kind of get the hint like, this ain't right. We should probably all leave. So they're all like, let's get into the party bus. So they all get into the party bus. And the Texas Chainsaw Massacre just goes in there. And there's no exits. There's no nothing. It's just 20, 40 kids and one Texas Chainsaw Massacre dude. You do the math. It was brutal. It was insane. The behind the scenes was super good. I watched them on YouTube because they weren't out. Because this is what I hate about movies nowadays, is that they don't do that shit anymore. That's what I grew up on, dude. That's what a lot of kids and parents grew up watching. When you watch the movie, you get the Part B disc, you put it into your DVD, and you'd watch the bonus footage, or you watch the bloopers, or how it was made. It blows my mind that they're kind of taking that away now. It's a really cool thing to see how it's made. But that movie was insane, and I'd strongly recommend it for people. Also, I think it was A Quiet Place Part 2 was a very good one. We just watched that as well. That was really, really good. But if you've never watched the first one, you need to watch the first one. You have to. All right, guys, I'm going to talk about one more story. I'm going to talk about one more last ghost story for me. And this is one that, it involves this particular Ouija board right here. When I was a kid, we lived right next to a cemetery. I was not like smack dab next to us. We had, here's here's my house. Okay. There was like a field here's my house. There's like a field right here. Okay. And then when you went up that hill on the field, because it was a field, should have said that, there is woods. But past that woods line was the other property. And that other property so happened to be a graveyard. Now, there was a trail that used to connect the two. Why? I don't know. But there was a trail. And we, as kids, that was like where all the kids in my neighborhood used to go as teenagers to be rebellious and, smoke weed and drink and do all that shit, party. Yeah, because it was a massive, massive, massive cemetery. And it was like all the way the trail took you was already in the back of the cemetery. No one was ever gonna go there. So like all the teenagers was like, this is the cool in spot, man. But there was one particular time that me, my sister, and her friend, we were all playing this Ouija board in like our basement. And the way my house was is that there was like two parts of it. So it was like a 2-story house. And the top part had like the kitchen and like the everything, and that was like more ground level. It was more all on ground level. And then the basement was like, there was like a gym, there was like one room, and then there'd be like another bathroom, there was the mud room, and there was another bedroom. And that bedroom, me and my sister would switch between that room every now and then, because growing up, we had 2 bedrooms. We had a small one and we had a big one, and the big one was down in the basement. And you wanted the big basement one as a kid because you got your own bathroom and you got your own fridge, you got your own, like, it was literally like you had your own floor, and it was really nice. Especially when you're as a teenager, because you could just sneak out super easily because like the mudroom was right there. Super duper easy. So I think my sister was living down there at the time, or I had been. I forget which order, but either way, we were all down there, and we had all lit candles all around us to emulate the Ouija board and to really get the mood going for the spirits. And that's what we were trying to do. And it was me, my sister, and her friend, and we're all playing it. It was all 3 of us. We did the 2 fingers all on it, or one, just 2 fingers, and we're all just kind of like playing the Ouija board. And in this room, there was the electric panel to the house, and it had a box around it. Now, I need to explain this box a little bit, because it's not just like a box. It can't open by, like, you had to, the way that movement I just gave, like, you had to kind of like unhinge it, because there was kind of like a lock. So there's an electrical box on this wall in this bedroom, and in order, my dad built this wooden box to go around it to hide it, and so that he could lock it so that the kids, as growing up, we couldn't really touch it if you lived in that bedroom, because you don't really want to have kids messing around with the electrical components of your house. So it was like this big box that he varnished, and it was all handmade. And the lock, it was like it had like a pin, so it would like kind of do this, and that looks dirty, get your mind out of the gutter, but it would really lock. Is what I'm trying to say. You had to pull it open. It just couldn't be like flung open. That's what I'm trying to get. Like, you couldn't just like hit it, and you had to pull it open. I'm really trying to express that you couldn't just pop it open. And we're playing the Ouija board, and I forget what question we had asked. Honestly, it was years and years ago. But all I remember was the electrical box is flung open, like, boom, just completely just boom. And we all just looked at it. And we were kids, so we didn't know how to say goodbye. And we just all were like, we're done with that. Those were probably that was like the other one, and nothing else happened after that. That was it. But that kind of sticks with me, because I still don't understand how that could have happened. Even if someone really hit the floor above really hard and you couldn't even pop that, there's no way you could have popped that open. None of us were near it. There was no one else near that, and it just popped open. So yeah, another weird one. I don't know how to explain that one, but again, I was a kid. I don't really see that stuff happening. I haven't had a weird experience as an adult. I'm gonna knock on wood, because the last thing I do is to experience one. But yeah, that's just it. The Ouija board, it's a cool little antique. It's my childhood's legit. That's the board I played on. It's weird and it's cool. But I'm really happy to have it. I'm not gonna be leaving it there all the time. Of course, I'm gonna put it somewhere. I just want to leave it out for the video. But that's it. This is today's podcast, guys. I really hope you enjoyed just kind of hanging out and talking about this stuff. If you did, feel free to like, subscribe, comment, and share the video. But other than that, I'm going to end this video. Stay tuned for tonight. I'll be doing my second electronic live set that I'm really, really excited to be sharing with everyone. I've been working very hard on it. I'm just really excited to be sharing it with you guys. So that's going to be at 7 o'clock. And Thursday, I'm going to be at, 110 Grill in Nashua from 5 to 8 p.m. And you guys can come hang out. Great food, great beverages. And then Saturday, I'm going to be at Naughty Pines. That's going to be in Wakefield, New Hampshire. That's going to be from 6:30 to 9:30 on Saturday. And then, of course, on Sunday, I'll be at Tumbledown Cafe in Wakefield, New Hampshire from 11 to 2. Guys, I'm only playing the Sundays this month, and that's it. So I've been doing the Sunday gigs for 4 months now. So they're a lot of fun. This is a from farm to table restaurant. It's really good food. They have a little fridge that you can get like homemade beef jerky and homemade jams and homemade goodies and stuff like that. Their specials are really good. And like I said, this month, this will be the last month I'm playing there on the Sundays from 11 to 2. So this is the time to come see it. It's going to be good shows. It's going to be a lot of fun. And that's pretty much it. Have a good one, guys, and take it easy. Why is my mouse not working? While my mouse tries to load up, I will tell you guys can check out my album on Level Up on iTunes. Seriously, what's going on? There it is. Level Up, coming up on June 1st, 30 songs. Have a good one, guys.